A gain there of 21. That's enough for a first down.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line.
Now, faking the give. He's got his man on the in route. Yes, take it in over the middle. And they bring him down inside. The 25.
First and 10 at the 22-yard line.
Off the play fake. He'll look to throw. Quick throw, taken in. And he's brought down after a gain of 6 on first down.
A 6-yard pickup brings up second.
Here's a run up the gut. Trying to find some place to go, but nothing developing. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 1.
Down behind the line of scrimmage.
On third down, they'll set up to throw. Fighting for the goal line. They're going to stop him just short, but he has picked up the first down.
San Diego, first down. First down and goal to go.
He's got it at the 3, and he'll take it on in. Touchdown, Shamrocks. Myers, good on the extra point. And the Shamrocks come right back to tie it at 7. Each team one possession, each team a score. 7-7 as they kick it off. He fields it at the 8. He'll work his way across the 25-yard line. On the ground, they go with Ali. Down the sideline, past the 40. A terrific run, finally brought down, but he's inside the 35-yard line. A big play here in the big game. 42 yards.
First and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure you're going to find a better example of just pure speed in the open field than that run right there. I mean, when he got past the first wave, you got the sense that he might just be able to outrun everybody on the field.
And they bring him down inside the 25-yard line. Look at the 3 tight ends here on first and 10.
First and 10 at the 21-yard line.
They'll go once more with Ali. And he's going to be marked out down at the 5. So it took just 3 plays, but just like that, they have first and goal. Working out of the gun, Smith. He's going to run out of time. They get to him and bring him down. Boye Mafe able to pursue his man and drop him for a loss of 4. Throwing on second down, Smith. Oh, a lot of chances on that one. It was bouncing around, but it falls incomplete.
It's now third and
from the shotgun. It's Smith. That's going to be broken up in the end zone. Incomplete. There was no space to fit that one in. And now here comes fourth and goal. And oh, how about this early on? They blocked the kick. But he's not going to be able to advance past the marker. He is stopped short. And the block kick leads to a turnover on downs. The Shamrocks offense ready for their second possession. All even here in this opening quarter. And the drive will begin with first down. They'll begin here on on the ground. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all.
Well, they try to get the run game started here early on this drive, Mike, and they're just going to have to do a better job up front. There's really nowhere for this ball carrier to go. You never want to lose yards on first down, but that's exactly the case here.
Got his receiver on the in cut. He's got it. 3rd and 5.
It's a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and 5.
Now they'll set up to throw. And that is incomplete.
I think he predetermined that 3rd down throw, and even though the coverage was tight, he still tried to fit the ball in there anyway, and it ended up falling incomplete. I think if he goes through his progressions and has a little bit more trust in his protection, I think there's an easier throw to make out there.
Now, fair catch called, and he's going to take it out beyond the 25-yard line. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll start it here with a 1st and 10. From the shotgun, Smith. And this will be incomplete. They'll try again here. 2nd and 10. To throw, Smith. Little short pass here, caught by his tight end. And nice work after the catch. He stopped a little short of the 1st down marker, but it is a pickup of 9.
3rd and 1.
They'll run the sneak. Trying to find any seam he can, but the push too strong in the middle. He didn't get there. It's 4th down. So 1st and 10 here now at the 38. To throw, in Smith. This one broken up. It's incomplete. The defender right there with him. It brings up 2nd down.
It's now 2nd and 10.
Throwing is Smith. Now they'll set up the screen for Ali. Once brought down, that pass is going to pick up 4 and bring up 3rd down.
It's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 6.
Smith to throw. He is hit before he can get rid of it. And down he goes.
And these are the type of splash plays that can have an impact, especially as the game goes on. So offensive line has to do a better job to make sure that they have this protection shored up and that this isn't a sign of things to come.
We're about ready now for the punt. And a fair catch is taken and is just inside the 20-yard line. The Shamrocks offense ready to take over once more. They'll see if they can put something together here, beginning with 1st and 10. Back to throw here to begin the drive. And he's not going to get too far, tackled after a gain of just a yard.
1-yard gain brings up 2nd and 9.
Here comes the blitz as he looks to throw. He finds the big tight end, that's Gerald Everett. And he'll be taken down up at the 40-yard line. His first catch of this Super Bowl, and good for the 1st down.
40-yard line.
Back to throw. A good throw. That's complete on the slant. And he's down on the other side of midfield. Markham at the 48-yard line.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
We'll try the zone read on 1st and 10. Probably should have given that one up. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
You know, Mike, it's funny, when you're facing these really elite defensive linemen, sometimes it's easier to make them the read guy rather than actually try to block them. Unfortunately, they're elite for a reason, and sometimes they're still able to make the play like we saw here.
And he's not going to get away. They're going to bring him down on the other side of midfield. 3rd and long. Blitz coming. He'll throw it. That's over the middle and taken in. He's got it. It's been a busy first quarter for him so far. His 3rd catch goes for a 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
These third down conversions are just so important, Mike. Everybody stresses we want to possess the ball, give our offense as much opportunity to end as many drives as we can, scoring points. So if you want to stay on the field, you better be good on third down.
And they bring him down inside the 25-yard line.
First and 10 at the 21-yard line.
On first and 10, they'll set up to throw. Flushed to his left. Now he'll run it, and he will take this into the end zone. What a run! Touchdown, San Diego. His second TD of the game, and this one gives his team the lead. That one is going to hurt the defense. He's looking to throw, can't find anyone, takes off, and Greggy takes it the distance for an exciting touchdown run.
And these are the plays, Mike, that just drive defensive coordinators crazy. You have all of his targets covered up, nowhere to go with the ball, and next thing you know, he gets out of the pocket, takes it all the way with his legs. He's just as dangerous with those feet as he is with his arm.
Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. From the 6, here comes a return. And he'll work this one past the 25, so right about the 28-yard line. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll start out first down and 10. Here's Smith. He takes off. He's taken down just shy of midfield. Taking advantage of the room to run, a gain of 19 on the scramble. Here's a handoff to Ali. And he's going to wind up losing yardage here. And that will take us to the end of the opening quarter of play. Last play went the wrong way. It sets up second and long. It's second down and 12. Back is Smith. The pass is caught by Turner. And a good job rallying to the football. Holding just a gain of a yard and sets up third down.
Third and 10.
Smith now. He'll look middle, and he's got his man complete. His first catch of this Super Bowl. And good for the first down.
First and 10 at the 33-yard line.
Third down is when we see so many tight ends around the league really make their money. They operate in the middle of the field. They're a big, easy target for the quarterback. And even if they are covered, Mike, they're not really ever covered.
He's able to get away from one man, but the reinforcements were there for that. He's taken down for a loss on the play.
These negative runs, they just make everything for the play caller that much more difficult, Mike. So they've got to find a way to be more efficient on these early downs, meaning first and second down, because if not, you find yourself the entire game in third and pass, and that's what every single defense in the league is trying to do.
Brings up third and 3.
From the gun on third down, Smith. And they're going to track him down. He couldn't find a receiver, and down he goes.
I think the most frustrating element to all of this is when you look downfield, there's guys open. There's plays to be made downfield in the passing game, but quite frankly, the pass protection has just been so bad that they haven't been able to take advantage of any of it.
On fourth down, they'll send in the field goal unit. This one from 52 yards away. He makes up for the earlier miss. This time, the kick is good. And his guys are back within 4 at 14-10. The kickoff team is out on the field. And we're back to it as the kicks away. This taken in at the 8-yard line. And a solid run back there. He'll get this out past the 30-yard line. The Shamrocks offense back onto the field for their next possession. The lead sits at 4. So he'll try to add on to that. This drive begins with 1st and 10. And a nice gain there on 1st down. He takes it forward for 8 yards. Ball on the 40 now. Here's 2nd and 2. Off play action. He'll set up to throw. Off he goes. Carrying that ball loosely, and it is out. And this one is recovered by the defense.
That was a great play by the defense, Mike. He got a little sloppy with ball security as he leaves the pocket. They're able to knock it loose and put an end to this drive.
So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll have very good starting field position as they set up past the 40. On 1st and 10, here's Ali. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all. From the 42-yard line, here's 2nd and 9. Now Smith. And that ball incomplete over the middle. 3rd down and 9.
It's now 3rd down and 9 yards to go.
To throw is Smith. Second reception of this Super Bowl, and it's good enough for a 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 44-yard line.
On the ground, it's Ali. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all.
What makes great linebackers stand out from the pack is their instincts and their vision. In this case, the linebacker has his keys, brings him right where the ball is going, and he's able to make a play at the point of attack to keep this to a no gain. He's usually such a reliable target in the passing game. Like, we just don't see him struggle to come down with catches like that all too often. And when you're one of the go-to guys on your team, I know the hit's coming, but guess what? It feels a lot better after you take that hit after a catch than it does after a drop.
Second reception of this Super Bowl, and it's good enough for a 1st down.
28-yard line.
Third downs, Mike, those are quarterback downs. Those are the downs where you tend to find yourself in a must-pass situation, and that's where the top guys in the league are still capable of overcoming it. So throw the ball downfield, be accurate with the ball. Winning on 3rd downs, that is a recipe for success.
A 2nd down throw for Smith. That one out in front of his big target. They cannot connect, and it falls incomplete. Converted twice on 3rd down already on this drive. Now can they do it for a 3rd time? Smith. Out to his right. He'll try to run for it. And he's going to go into the end zone on an electrifying run. Touchdown, Chicago. His 2nd TD of the game, and this one gives his team the lead.
That's just such an athletic play by an NFL quarterback, Mike, and you can see he tried to remain a passer as long as possible, but once it became clear there was nowhere to go with the ball, he puts it down and decides to do the rest with his legs, and he's able to take it all the way in for a touchdown.
The kick is good. Makes the score our home team 17, visitors 14.
Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. Now return coming from the 7. He'll get this up to the 28-yard line. Nice place for the drive to start. The Shamrocks offense getting their final instruction before heading back onto the field. They'll try to establish some tempo. The start this one with 1st and 10. He'll start this drive by keeping it himself. And he's out of bounds up beyond the 40-yard line.
And the San Diego first down.
They'll look to throw. He finds his big tight end, Everett. He'll get about 4 here as he is taken down.
Yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
They'll run on 2nd down. And he'll be stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
He was taken down.
What can they do here on 3rd down and 7?
Brings up 3rd and 7.
He'll look to throw. This is caught down that right sideline. Here's 1st and 10.
San Diego first down.
They'll give on the ground. And this won't go for much, maybe a couple, but he does show you that make-you-miss ability that he has.
Nice job by the running back making the first guy miss, but it's the pursuit by the entire defense. Even though he doesn't get him down on his first try, the rest of his guys are all rallying to the ball. They bring him down for a short gain.
And that one shut down pretty quickly. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing more. 3rd and 7.
Brings up 3rd and 7.
Heel drops to throw. Pushed out to his right. Taking off. He'll try to get there. And he will easily pick up the 1st down. They've got 1st and goal coming up.
San Diego first down. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
The defensive line has to do a better job of contain rushing, especially on 3rd down. Like, you can't rush one-on-one. You have to rush as a unit. Keep the quarterback in the pocket, and when you let him get loose, this is what's going to happen.
And that is caught in the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Shamrocks.
San Diego.
And, Greg, that is good play design there. Using the play fake to get the receiver time to get open.
And down here this close to the goal line, Mike, it doesn't take much. All you need is that linebacker or that defender to freeze for that split second. That's all you need to create separation, and that's an easy pitch and catch for a touchdown.
Myers, good on the extra point. And the Shamrocks move out in front by 4. It's 21-17.
17.
The kickoff team is out on the field, and we're back to it as the kick's away. This will be taken in at the 2. He'll come across the 20 and taken down at the 21-yard line. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll do so with 1st and 10. Carry now for Ali. And they smack him down there. Big hit right at the line. No gain
on the play.
Depending on the situation or the down and distance, Mike, the linebackers have different reads. Sometimes they read the offensive lineman. Sometimes they read the running back. In this case, his read brings him right to the play. He's able to make a big stop and keep the gain to nothing.
So he's brought down. That pass is going to pick up 4 and bring up 3rd down. To throw, here's Smith. And he'll just have to throw this one away. There was nowhere to go downfield. And now it's going to bring up a 4th down. Here's their punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. The Shamrocks offense ready to get back at it. They'll begin with 1st and 10. Here's a zone read to start the drive. And they'll mark him down just shy of the 40. It's a gain of 10. That's enough for a quick 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line.
So from the 39, they come up on 1st and 10. They'll turn and hand this one off. to the edge at the 30. And they finally bring him down, but he gets it to the red zone. Brings it inside the 20.
First and 10 at the 19-yard line.
They'll stay on the ground. Drawing some oohs and ahs from the crowd, juking his way forward for a gain of a couple.
At the 16-yard line.
They face second down and 7. Now here's a keeper on the zone read.
And these are body blows on any defense. This quarterback has the ability to make guys miss and do a lot of damage in the run game. And that's a nice pickup there.
He'll decide to keep this once more. He will not be able to get to the edge. They shut him down. Taken down behind the line. And it's fourth down. So instead of going for the first down, in comes the field goal unit. Bit of a surprise here. Myers' kick is good. And the Shamrocks will tack on 3 more, extending the lead here late in the first half. Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. Here comes a return from the 3. That'll be brought down past the 25. Decent field position to start this drive. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. Smith to throw on first and 10. He completes it to Hutchinson. That's a nice pickup on a first down throw. It's a gain of 8.
An 8-yard gain. Brings up second.
Throwing on second down. Smith. Throw here down the field. Will fall. Incomplete. Third and a yard.
Kobe Bryant
working out of the gun. Smith. And they will bring him down on the other side of midfield. They'll break the huddle. Coming up now for first and 10.
At the 45-yard line.
From the shotgun, it's Smith. That one into the hands of Turner. And they're going to move this ball inside the 25-yard line.
First and 10 at the 24-yard line.
On first and 10, here's Smith. Now his receiver on the in-cut. He's got it. Now this offense could use the first of their timeouts. Clock stopped with a little under a minute to go in this second quarter.
At the 18-yard line.
They'll come up now for second down and 4. From the shotgun, Smith. Quick throw, taken in, and they'll whistle him down, but not before it picks up a first down after a gain of 7. That's a second charge timeout to Chicago as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining here in half number 1. On first down is Smith. He pulls it in around the 5.
Smith's pass complete to number 7. A 5-yard gain.
On second down, Smith. Now they'll set up the screen for Ali. A second effort, and he is in. Rasheen Ali. Touchdown, Chicago.
You know, we spent so much time talking about the heroics of a game-winning drive to end the fourth quarter in 2-minute mode. Now let's talk about a 2-minute mode, Mike, at the end of the first half. It might not be in walk-off fashion, but I'll tell you what, executing that here, going into halftime, changes this entire game.
The extra point is up and through. And his guys will tie this game at 24. Halftime coming close. And not much time left as this one is kicked away. And no return here. This is a touchback. From the 35, it's first and 10. Right away, they'll set up to throw. Throwing it right into the hands of his running back. And they get this one across midfield to the 47-yard line. Now here's timeout. They're going to take it with 8 seconds remaining until the break. They'll look to throw here on first down. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
A 55-yard attempt.
He is 2 for 2. That kick is good. And the Shamrocks get 3 here late in the first half to take the lead.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much. Scott Hansen with you from the EA Studios in Orlando. It's been a heck of a game so far. Just a field goal separating these two squads. You have to imagine both sides are trying to figure out how to clean things up and put some touchdowns up in the second half. Let's find out what goes on in the third quarter. Back out to the stadium and our broadcast team, Mike Tirico and Greg Olson.
Scott, thanks. Probably a tough halftime for the defensive coordinators, trying to do something to slow down these offenses. What a show they put on in the first half. And their drive will begin at the 30-yard line. The Shamrocks offense going to have a first crack at it as we begin this third quarter. They lead by a field goal as they go to work with a 1st and 10. Here's a run to begin this third quarter. And he'll manage to get this ahead for a pickup of 5. Ball on the 36 now. Here's 2nd and 4. They'll stick with him again. And he'll be marked down at the 45-yard line. They get 18 on that one. And that will be a first down.
At the 45-yard line.
And we're starting to see the fruits of their labor paying off here. I mean, they've used this run game to throw a bunch of body blows throughout the entire contest. And while some of the carries didn't result in much at the time, it's clear they're starting to take its toll on this defense.
He's brought down at the 42-yard line.
Second down, they need 7.
Second down.
Now this time they'll look to throw. Goes brought down. That pass is going to pick up 4 and bring up 3rd down.
It's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 3.
Now they'll set up to throw. That one too far out in front. It is incomplete. A field goal, no gimme from this distance. They'll go on 4th down. They'll try and run for it. And he is not going to get there. Short of the marker. And that's going to be a turnover on down.
You know, more often than not in the NFL, games are won based on who wins critical downs. Well, that 4th down attempt right there was exactly that, and this defense came up huge for a big-time 4th down stop.
This team's offense getting ready for their opening possession of this second half. This one has been tight so far. A field goal separating the two sides as this drive kicks off with 1st and 10. He's got his man on the in route. Yes, taken in over the middle. 16 yards on the game and a quick 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line.
Smith to throw on 1st down. That one down the field, but it is incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
Back to the air, it's Smith. Short pass taken in by the tight end. And he's going to be dropped after a pickup of about 5.
It's a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and 4.
From the gun on 3rd down, Smith. This one's broken up. It's incomplete. Good job separating the receiver from the ball, and it is 4th down. They're all set to punt this one away, as they'll say no to the long field goal and hope to pin them deep. And that's a thing of beauty. Out of bounds at the 6-yard line. The Shamrocks offense ready to take over once again. They'll have a long field ahead of them as they start 1st and 10. good for just a couple.
Tackle made at his own 9-yard line. Brings up second down.
Out of the gun, he'll throw. Gets it away quickly, and it's caught. And that's a first down. It will be a gain of 8.
First down. First and 10 at the 17-yard line.
On the play fake, he'll look to throw. That's out to the flat, and it's complete. And he will not get away. Terrific open field tackle. Gets him down behind the line.
16-yard line.
Sometimes it's easy for a defense to lose track of a running back, especially when he leaks out from the backfield, but not the case here. They kept eyes on him the whole time. Comes in, makes a sure tackle, and drops him for a loss.
A handoff as they try to run it here. Neomatic only about 3, so it will bring up third down.
The 20-yard line. It's a gain of 3. Brings up third and 8.
They'll look to throw. He'll look middle, and he's got his man complete. A gain of 11 on that one. That's enough for a first down.
Just seems like every year, Mike, the tight end position just continues to grow within the passing game and establishes a bigger and bigger role. And listen, I know I'm biased, but if you want to have a good passing game, you better have a good tight end.
The tackle made at the 36-yard line.
They'll break the huddle. It's second and 5.
Brings up second and 5.
He'll look to throw. That's going to be incomplete. Coverage very good there. Contact jarring the ball loose. And it's going to force third down. He'll drop to throw. He manages to get the throw away and completes it. And he will have the first down. The drive will continue after a pickup of 8.
First and 10 at the 44-yard line.
And they'll get about half of what they needed. It's a pickup of 5 and sets up second and 5.
A gain of 5 brings up second and 5.
Now a give up the middle. Ooh, some hitting going on now. He was roughed right at the line of scrimmage.
Behind the line of scrimmage. The tackle made back at his own 49.
On third down, they'll set up to throw. The pressure, too much, and he goes down.
You can tell the quarterback has built a lot of confidence in his ability to make plays today with his feet. The defense has had a hard time keeping him in check, and this time, much better job in pursuit. Even though he was able to get outside the pocket, they were able to chase him down and bring him down for a sack.
So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. The drive begins at the 20. Here's first and 10. And he'll work ahead for about 5 to the 25.
At this point, we're going to need 2 hands to count for how many yards he's averaged in this one, Mike. But unfortunately, it just hasn't been enough to overcome the deficit here at this stage of the game.
A very quick throw there, but not on the same page with his target. That's incomplete. Third down, they need 5.
And 5.
Working out of the gun, Smith. And this is going to be incomplete. And it's great work there, making things difficult defensively. It'll set up a fourth down.
Every so often, Mike, you can see these offenses, and it looks like the passing game gets a little bit too predictable. And as the defense continues to flood the back end of these zones with extra defenders, they're continuing to force this quarterback to not only make some difficult throws, but to put the ball in harm's way.
The Shamrocks offense make their way out to take over once more. Back to throw here to begin the drive. They'll get about here as he is taken down.
A bit of a quick hitter here, and what you're hoping for, Mike, is that the defense can't react quickly enough because the ball's coming out so hot. But they knew it was coming, and they end up holding them to just a short game.
And they'll whistle him down, but not before it picks up a first down after a gain of 7.
That's good for a San Diego.
Up the middle they go. And he's able to push his way forward, a gain of about 2. It'll be second down.
Taken down at the 43-yard line. A gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8.
Back to the ground. He'll get it again. And that is going nowhere in a hurry. Finally taken down well behind the line. It is 3rd and long. They'll throw out of the gun. This one just too far for the receiver. Out in front of him. That one falls incomplete. The Shamrocks send their punter out. Before he can get a return going. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. A run with Ali. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all. Try again. It's 2nd and 10.
At the 18-yard line.
They'll go once more with Ali. Can he get away? No! He's going to be taken down behind the line.
He does a nice job coming from his safety position, filling his run gap assignment, and keeps this to a modest gain at best.
From the pistol, Smith. Under pressure, and he'll go down. They got him.
We're starting to see in these passing situations, Mike, this defensive line is starting to have their way against this group up front because right now, their pass protection is breaking down, and this quarterback's paying the price for it.
Whoa! The Shamrocks offense getting set to get back to work. They'll begin with terrific starting field position. It gets going with 1st and 10. It'll be taken down rather swiftly after a gain of just 3.
Right at midfield. A 3-yard pickup. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Ball right on the 50-yard line. Here's 2nd down and 7. Handoff here, up the middle. He's fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage, but can't get there. Dropped for the loss of a yard.
And after that negative run, I think this changes the play call now on 3rd down. So this offensive line has to be a lot better on 1st and 2nd down to gain positive yards. Stay on track because you don't want to be in 3rd and pass too often in today's NFL.
And he'll just have to throw this one away. There was nowhere to go downfield. And now it's going to bring up a 4th down. That one hit inside the 10, but it bounces forward into the end zone. Bring it back out to the 20-yard line. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. On 1st and 10, here's Ali. And a good job following his blockers, a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down.
A gain of 7 brings up 2nd down at the 28-yard line.
From the shotgun, it's Smith. There's that man again. Another catch. So it'll be 1st and 10. They'll scrimmage at the 33.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
Down to the final quarter in Super Bowl 60. will return for the fourth from Santa Clara after this. So they come to the line for first down and 10. Fourth quarter begins on the ground. And he slips through an opening. Winds up getting about 8. That is past the 40-yard line.
8 yards on the pickup. Brings up second and 2 at the 41-yard line.
Another try with Ali. And that'll give him the first down. Tackle made after the pickup of 3.
This is a situation that play callers love to be in, Mike. They have all their options on the table. Second and short, play action pass. You can run. In this case, they choose to keep it on the ground, play it safe, pick up the first down.
And he proves tough to bring down. Good running across midfield. A gain of 8 that time. On the ground, it's Ali. And that'll be a gain of 2 and a first down.
Well, here's where you really see the value of having a good run. Third and short, fourth and short. The ability to just keep it simple, win up front, turn around, hand the ball to your back, and to say, okay, more likely than not, we're going to get a fresh set of downs, maintain possession, and now continue to find opportunities to go generate points.
Brought down by Chris Jones. No gain on the play. Brings up second down at the 45-yard line.
Ball spotted at the 45. Here's second and 9. Now a give on the ground. And that one shut down pretty quickly. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And that's it.
So this time they're trying to use the run game to attack the boundary side of the field. And the defense is really fast in their pursuit. Really nice effort there from the backside. And they're able to bring him down this time for a loss.
Little short pass here, caught by his tight end. And he'll be out of bounds, well short of the line to gain. And that'll set up fourth down. This one has plenty of legs. And it is good. That evens the score here in the fourth quarter.
And this is where it pays to have a kicker you can trust, Mike. I mean, this is as big a spot as there is. Fourth quarter, what does he do? He comes out and he delivers to tie up this game.
Nice job by the return team as he takes it across the 30-yard line. The Shamrocks offense makes their way back out to the field for their next possession. This game level following the made field goal. So they need to put something together here. It begins with first and 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And that keeps them ahead of schedule. That's a first down completion of 7 yards.
A gain of 7 brings up second down at the 39-yard line.
Now this looks like a design run. And he'll get nothing here. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
It's a loss of 1. Brings up third and 8.
They'll throw here on third and short. And this is caught on the sideline. Going to have the first down. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe not. They say the feet were out of bounds. Wow. Big, tight call there. For the moment, it'll be fourth down. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. This will start from the 12, trying to put a drive together here. It's first and 10. Carry now for Ali. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all.
I can promise you that is not how they wanted to start this drive, Mike. I mean, to get blown up at the point of attack, there was just nowhere for the back to go on that run.
On second down, it's Ali. And this defense up to the task there. Gain of just 2, and it's third down.
Makes it third and 8.
Turner goes in motion. Smith from the gun on third down. He's got a touchdown on the books from earlier, and that catch gets him a first down.
First and 10 at the 26-yard line.
You get in these situations, third down, tie game, fourth quarter. I mean, this is really where your quarterback makes his money. You're going to put your faith and say, all right, what is the best play for this offense to execute? And the game really rests in the hands of your quarterback. And he continues to come up with these third down pickups and continues to extend this drive. He's got a shot to come away the hero and win this game here late.
He'll try to get back to the line, but he's not happening. Going to lose a yard.
When you can get this level of run support out of your secondary, Mike, man, what an advantage for any defense. This defensive back clearly reads run, gets off his block, and he's able to take down the back for a loss of yards.
The pass rush gets home, and he goes down.
And this defense, they just continue to put in a great night's work. I mean, Mike, you think whether it's been blitz schemes, stunts, whatever you name it, this offensive line has had its hands full. They have allowed their quarterback to be hit way too many times.
And that is good coverage by the punt team as they meet him and bring him down. The Shamrocks offense ready to take over possession of the football. We're all even, fourth quarter, so every drive so important at this stage. And they'll start with first and 10. They'll begin here on the ground. They'll mark them down up at the 44-yard line. About 15 yards to kick off the drive. It's a first down. On first and 10, they'll set up to throw. And they're going to work this down inside the 45.
San Diego, first down. First and 10 at the 40.
A zone read here, and he's going to keep this himself. He'll take this forward for about 5. Ball on the 39. Here's second and 5.
It's a gain of 5.
Back to throw. He's got his big target, Everett. And they will take him down at the 20-yard line. 6 catches for him in the ballgame now. And this one's good for a first down.
First and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Having a tight end that can contribute in the passing game, Mike, I mean, it just seems like it's become more and more common throughout the entire league. And not only do you have to be reliable, but you have to be athletic enough after the catch to take advantage of some of these targets. So it's exactly what he does here, and you can tell why he's such a big part of this offense.
At the 13-yard line.
A shotgun snap. He'll look to throw. And he got rid of that one quickly before the receiver even knew what was going on. That's incomplete.
Brings up third down and 3 yards to go.
They go zone read here on third and short. And he's in. Touchdown, San Diego. That is second touchdown of this Super Bowl. Greg, every touchdown counts the same, but the ones you get in the fourth quarter, they are the ones that feel a little more important.
Yeah, now the pressure shifts to your defense. Your offense was able to go out and get the lead here late. Does your defense have enough left in them to get one more stop?
Meyer, good on the extra point. And the Shamrocks will go up by 7. So the lead is 7 now. Here in this fourth quarter, the tie has been broken. Let's see what happens on this kickoff. This will be returned from the 6. And he'll be brought down just beyond the 25-yard line. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll mark them down up at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 16, and very quickly, a first down.
That's good for a first down. First and 10 at the 40.
Little quick pass to the receiver heading left. Able to make one man miss but that's all. They get him. Take him down behind the line.
A loss of 2.
When you come across on a jet sweep, Mike, you're hoping once you get the ball, all you see is green grass and open space. Well, in this case, he had a lot of unhappy defenders waiting for him, and they're able to put him down behind the line.
Time now becoming a factor as we get to third down. And that is incomplete.
It's just so hard to be a good offense in the NFL, Mike, when you are not good on third down. Your inability to extend drives, it either puts a lot of pressure on your coaches to be aggressive on fourth down or simply punt or take a field goal. You have to maintain possession and give you more cracks to score touchdowns.
The Shamrocks offense ready to see what they can do. They lead by a touchdown as this drive begins with 1st and 10. Right away, they'll set up to throw. Who else? Another catch for his favorite target. They'll come up 1st and 10 at the 40.
That's good for a San Diego first down.
They'll let the quarterback keep it here on the zone read. And they'll have it across midfield down at the opposing 46-yard line. They'll come up here 1st and 10.
1st and 10 at the 46-yard line.
2 minutes remain in Super Bowl 60. We're back to see this one wrap up after this. We'll go 3 tight ends here on 1st and 10. Going back in the backfield. He'll get the carry here. And he is stopped in his tracks. Loss of a couple on the play. After the loss of 3, it is 2nd and 13. They'll stick with him again. And they'll stop it. At least it's an improvement over the last play. They're not losing yards, but it didn't gain any here. And now it's going to be 3rd down.
We're seeing such an uptick, Mike, across the league in these hybrid kind of positionless defenders, especially safety. So are they a safety? Are they a linebacker? They're good in both coverage. And in this case, they can play near the line of scrimmage and still make plays on the ground.
It's 4th down.
The Shamrocks getting their punter out there as they try to play the field position game here, protecting a 4th quarter lead. And we will not have a return here. This one angles out of bounds. So out comes the Chicago offense as they get set to take over once more. They'll come up for 1st and 10. They'll drop to throw. That's caught by Ali. That's a nice pickup on a 1st down throw. It's a gain of 8.
It's a gain of 8.
On 2nd down, Smith. The pass is caught by Turner. And he's going to be brought down up past the 45.
And the 1st down.
Smith to throw on 1st down. And that could be the dagger. It's intercepted. Picked off by Kobe Bryant.
And with time not on their side, they're trying to push the ball, generate some sort of chunk play by throwing the ball over the top of the defense. It's going to end up being a little bit too predictable. The defense is able to take the ball away, and barring something crazy happening, puts them in a prime position to close this one out.
The Shamrocks offense about ready to take over once more. And with the defense out of timeouts, they cannot stop the clock. Just a couple of kneel downs should do it. Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee. And this franchise has done it. They are your Super Bowl champions. Wow, you talk about a compelling Super Bowl. That's as good as we could ask for, Greg. A struggle tight till the end, but ultimately, one team had a little bit more, and they are now the champions.
And as in the case in so many Super Bowls, Mike, your entire franchise, and for a lot of these players, their legacies are altered by a play here, a play there. This could have been a totally different outcome, but let's give credit to the champs. They made the plays when they needed, and that's NFL ball, and I'll tell you what, they're going to enjoy this celebration.
Commissioner Goodell on the podium, making the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy to a very worthy franchise. Champions of Super Bowl 60. So that'll do it for another sensational season of the NFL on EA Sports. For our entire team and with my partner Greg Olson, Mike Tirico, good night from Santa Clara, California.